Hey, good evening, Bobcat Nation. Welcome once again to the Bobcat Blitz, coming to you live from Northport Depot Braves, your home, the official home of your Bobcat Blitz. I'm Sean Kirkpatrick, and welcoming back again into our host chairs, John Rawlings.
Hey, how you guys doing? You doing all right tonight?
I'm doing fine.
You know, we have missed a couple shows, but I have anyway. You guys have put together quite the little run here as far as having some successful shows along with some successful sports, right?
We've had quite a bit to discuss. It's a really interesting time of the year when we say goodbye to our fall sports and say hello to winter sports.
And
so much going on right
so
now.
we usually start out with a quick intro of what's going on, but I want to do something a little different. I want to bring in the Athletic Booster president and have him talk a little bit. And also they had a meeting tonight, so we'll have several of them join us, but will you please come forward?
Fans, while we're getting ready here, if you were at the home game, our senior night game, you might have seen between the first and second quarter, we had Athletic Boosters out there giving us a pretty nice donation here. We're going to let Mr. Cochran tell us what's going on here.
So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and, all the hard work you've done. How many years you've been doing it, first off?
With the Booster Club since 2018.
2018. So, I know that position well, believe it or not.
Right.
I didn't do it as long as you, but I know that position well. So please introduce yourself and kind of highlight since 2018 where you took over the program and where it's at today.
Well, in 2018, the active Booster Club had dissolved, so we basically rebuilt the Booster Club from the ground up. Took a while to establish our 501c3 and get our nonprofit status. Took a while to regain the support and respect of the coaches to understand that the Booster Club was here to stay. And right now, we're very healthy, very established, and ready to keep things moving forward. I'm sure the amount of the check will come into the conversation later, but it's a pretty substantial thing that the Booster Club's done, and I don't believe it's ever happened before.
And what's the value of having an athletic booster be an active part of athletics at Northport?
Well, athletic funds are limited, as we all know. The district says that this is your funds for the year, or the school has its limits to what can be spent where. And with the Booster Club being an independent organization, we can funnel funds into the athletics department so that they can use them where they see fit to benefit all the student athletes at the school.
We're going to have Tony on here in a little bit, but I remember back when I was part of the boosters, the booster president back in the day, and the reason that we set that up was so that the money that was brought in could actually be utilized at a I think a greater clip, because if you didn't have the boosters in there right now and you didn't have your 501c, they would have to purchase through the athletic program, which they have control of who can purchase, right?
Yeah, internal funds takes a little bit where they got to request purchase orders, and nothing against the system, but there is a system in place. It does take a while.
Well, and the pricing is different too. So even coaches can get better pricing when they shop it around.
Correct. If they're not limited to where they can go with who they can get it from. Sure, they with their own booster funds, they kind of are at liberty to spend it where and how they see fit.
So the real scope of this is we need more people to get involved with the boosters, right?
Now more than ever, yeah.
Now more than ever,
yeah,
because
we've got three outgoing members. Our secretary, treasurer, and vice president will all be at the end of their terms come our May annual general meeting, and I will be the outgoing president. I've chosen not to continue. It'll be my sixth and final year. So we're pretty much looking for I guess a whole new board. I mean, let's be honest. My wife and I are kind of burnt out, and we have our
Yeah.
kids went to Venice High, or excuse me, oh geez, where'd that come
No,
from?
whoop.
Went to Northport High School. My wife went to Venice, so that's okay though. Went to Northport High School, graduated in 19 and 22, and but we're still here. So with one playing football in college, that's where a lot of our time's been going up to Owensboro, Kentucky. So it's hard to balance with kids out of the school and still volunteering.
All right, so I'm going to say this because it has to be said. You said it graciously. When I bowed out, my kids were gone. You've stayed in, and your kids are gone.
Yeah.
Parents, are you listening? Because if you're not listening, there should be a loud thud right now that there's an absence of. How many athletes do we have, Tony? Roughly 600? 600 athletes. I see 6 representatives from the booster program. Y'all have kids here still? 2. So 2.
And they're both seniors.
Yeah, and they're both seniors. So that thud should get a little louder now. Because
it's not mandatory per team. At least one parent per team shows up. Can you make that mandatory, Mr. Conner?
Well, it actually is. It actually is in our bylaws for active sports to have a liaison as a representative for the communication back and forth. I don't expect coaches. Coaches are busy, but we did request at least some representation of each active sport. I know it would be tough to get soccer in September, but we did set aside, I think, 4 spots as liaison members in a voting position in our bylaws. Unfortunately,
what if you sweeten the deal? If you show up as a parent of the team, or that team needs a little bit extra sit back to them.
That's not how it works with our booster club. Our booster club funds that we fundraise are strictly to go to athletics.
Okay.
Each team can independently fundraise, and the funds that they put into their booster account, it stays with them.
Gotcha.
It's their funds. They get to choose to do what they want with them.
I'm trying to think of something here.
And that's all right. And here's the beauty is there's a small group right now of people who are outgoing and incoming and staying, but they need help desperately. This check behind us, there's a reason they were able to do this, and it was because they had a small amount of people involved. Imagine what they could do if you actually gave a crap and showed up for your kids and participated at this level, because truthfully, there are parents that are stepping up for the team side of building the team participation side of the money side of what happens in sports. But are we really talking to parents tonight about athletics? We're talking about the booster program and what the booster program does in general for athletes across the board.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in specific, I mean, this check behind us represents a 1-year subscription to the Huddle program. For an athlete trying to move on and further their education, there's nothing better they can do than create athletic highlights of themselves. Huddle program is amazing. From personal experience, our son was a kicker, is a kicker. Did not get to see the field a whole lot because he's a kicker. But being able to put together a 4 or 5 minute highlight reel per game and send it to the coaches or tag the coaches that he's been in communication with, it was a huge part of his recruitment process. And I mean, let's be honest, you don't send your kid to Owensboro, Kentucky unless somebody really wants them and they're willing to put out some funds for them. So
well, and being able to have that, and like I said, we're going to pull Tony up for 5 or 10 minutes, but this is an essential part of athletes' futures, isn't it?
Sure. Oh, I mean, if your future is beyond college with athletics, then for sure. But it's it's a invaluable resource to be able to promote yourself through athletics to further your academic side of your future.
So which sport would have picked up this check and paid for this? Which one, Tony?
No, none.
The athletic department.
Athletic
Yeah,
department, for sure.
no, I wondered because we often talk about individual sports and we're doing a great job. The coaches are doing a great job. Imagine if the parents actually stepped up and decided not just are we going to do this, but we're going to support the athletes themselves in a general sense. That we're going to make recruiting at Northport High School a higher priority than just a group of 5 people saying, yeah, we can get this done and struggle their way through, because if there's 600 athletes, one parent per athlete, there's 600 parents. Imagine what you could do if we could get 25 out of 600. Holy crap, that's a small number when you think about it. But imagine if we got 100 people. What could you have done in the last 6 years if you'd have had 100 people to start with and built the momentum?
Well, I mean,
They need to hear it, though.
You assume you take on 100, you probably burn out 50, but 50 still left over would have been great. Yeah, I don't know that I'd have been personally able to manage 100 people, but I'd have given it my all. And
would it not have made things better, though?
Yeah, for sure. There's events that we struggled to put on and had to cancel just because of human resource or lack thereof human resource. Boots on the ground, it's a huge part of what we do, and we're limited. We're self-employed, and when we're busy, and business.
You do a job. You do a job outside
business
of boosters, right?
priority. Yeah, and we don't earn a dime, but that's not the point. The point's about giving back to athletics and helping these kids out. If we could. Yeah, like you said, I mean, I think 100's a far stretch, but
Man, take a good 25 though.
Yeah, right.
All day long.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because back in 2007, 2008, we had a great 25. We really did. We did a whole lot of things. We had a great 25. All of our kids graduated. They got the same problem today because none of you are stepping up like you should. Just remember that. If you want your kids to have more, if you want them to be looked at a higher level, help the boosters, because they help Tony Miller in the athletic department. So Tony Miller doesn't have to bear the brunt of what do I have to shift my monies to get these kids what they need. If you don't have a strong boosters, you can't get the other side done. And I know he's going to step up here and back me up, because without a strong booster program, your kids who you think you're dropping off and going home so they can play sports are not going to have what they need if this group of people doesn't continue to grow from 6 to 25. That should be a goal set right now for any freshman parents coming in, because you have at least 125 athletes coming in next year as freshmen. Be the parent that steps up. They need some leadership. If you can do it, this is your time. Is there anything else that you'd like to add on a positive side that this group has done?
I do. I would like to stop talking about the people that aren't participating and talk about the people that do.
Yes.
Vice President Kelly Boggs, our Treasurer Kristen Cawthorn, and Secretary Sally Giacobbe. This is the hardcore 4 that is getting stuff done for the last.
Congratulations, you're on TV.
You guys made it.
Most of them been here for a year. Like I said, I've been 5. I think Kristen's been probably 5 as well. Sally's been on for, this would be her 3rd year, I believe. Yeah, and as you see, Treasurer, Secretary, Vice President, they're all terms are up. Some of the terms were shortened because of kids graduating. But that these are the three that are definitely going. I'll be outgoing president, hopefully with a replacement by May at our annual general meeting. So, but this is the positive side of it. These are people that did step up and did help us out and have created events and fundraising to be able to give back to athletics. And I mean, so we talk about the amount like to the tune of $11,200. We just wrote a check back to athletics to pay for huddle, and that's just it's not necessarily that we're just paying for huddle. We're paying to open funds for athletics, and then Tony kind of has more freedom with funds that were typically allocated to the program for the athletes, but. If we had more help, I mean,
Could do more.
It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy what we could accomplish.
So, go ahead.
Yeah.
What would an average year for these members be? What's the time and commitment? If people are listening once, hey, it sounds like a great idea. What would you say a typical yearly membership would be for the?
Well, I mean, between meetings, we have monthly meetings. We typically meet the third Tuesday of every month. We typically meet right here at Beefs, 5:30, and meetings are usually about an hour. Outside of that, in between meetings, if we don't have an event scheduled, it's basically communication via email or text, where we're working on what needs to be done between meetings to set up for the next meeting. If we have an event, then there's a little bit more going on where we separate duties and divide and conquer. Our largest event of the year is our Bobcat Casino Night, March 2nd, 2024. Be there.
Be square.
Yeah. It'll be
Sponsored by Elite.
sponsored by Elite Hurricane Home Protection, presenting sponsor. Thank you, Chris Hagee.
It's not like you're doing 50 hours a week.
No, definitely not. I say,
I do the most.
You'll have one. I know you have some members doing more.
Yeah. So
Full-time job.
the treasurer definitely has a little bit more on their plate during in between meetings or throughout the year because it's funds in and out. Yeah, it's not that demanding. I say we're self-employed when we're busy, we can't.
So let's put it this way. Let's keep it on the positive because I already beat them up. All right. If there were more people involved, you can divide things down and you can get more done. If you help your kids by getting involved at the booster level and maintain what you're doing, it is not going to burn your time up. It's actually going to aid in cutting your time down because you're not going to have to do all the work that you would have to do to get your kids into college because that's kind of what you're doing here.
Sure.
You're setting them up for success and ease of access.
For sure. Yeah.
And if we didn't have the ease of access coming with this check, parents are sitting there going, what am I going to do? What's my kid going to do? The booster program is now literally setting these future kids up for ease of access to colleges.
Agreed.
So they can get scholarships, they can get into certain programs that they need to get into. And if you're out there listening, and you should be, and if you're not sharing this video, you should. And coaches, you should share it to every one of your parents because this is the essential part of the partnership that you actually have with the athletic department, because it is a true partnership, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Even if you're not interested in being an officer on the board, I mean, it's been our goal for years to set up committees and set up head of committees. They don't come with voting rights. They certainly come with an opinion if you want to come to a meeting and give your opinion. But if you don't want the obligation or the title of an officer on the board, then I mean, just to be another set of eyes, ears, hands, feet out in the community to help out when we need it. Committee members there are certain committees you can put together when you're doing an event. I mean, there could be a committee just looking for sponsorship. Bobcat Casino Night is well ingrained already. It's the second annual, and it's not till March, and we've got 80% of our sponsorships filled. So that's a huge community respect for that event. It's a great event. So
Did we have, and I got to ask this because I said it back in 07, we cannot have a second, a third, or a 17th annual unless we have the first.
For sure.
You're now talking about a second annual casino night. So with that second annual casino night, is there anything else that we do that is beyond a 5-year annual
Right now at the school?
for athletic boosters?
Oh, boosters, no.
Think
No.
about that, folks. Think about that just for a second, because while there was ups and downs, we had first and second annuals back in '07. Wasn't casino night. We had them in '08. It wasn't casino night. So the wheel had to be reinvented. No matter what the reason was, it doesn't matter. They're embedded. They're strong. They have great support within the athletic booster program. They have great support as far as athletics, and they have great support within the school system itself. Those three factors are huge for your success,
Yeah, I mean,
but you can't do it without parents.
yeah, well, the support of the community, support of the parents. I even say the support of the players. I mean, if the players could even be our voice saying, hey, I mean, if these guys are playing for Huddle, are paying for Huddle, I use Huddle every week after my game, after my softball game, my football game, my baseball game, softball, but soccer, whatever. I mean, if these people are paying for that, so I can do that to go to college, then maybe they should, let people know what we're doing. Players too. It's not just parents. I mean, we need players on board as well.
I think we need a letter to go out to athletes that have moved on. That we've got some great Teddy D's. Does a great job with the fundraising for basketball, but this is a different level, okay? Because this isn't a lot of times for anyone to promote out and make connections. It's just people you talk to every day.
Sure.
So you can promote and you can be part of the team that does nothing but talk positively about athletics and builds the camaraderie of a group of people who support athletics that may not even be part of the booster meeting each week, but they have a huge influence within the community.
Yeah, I mean, word of mouth is everything. Whether it's business or organization, just word of mouth is the best advertisement you can get. And if people are saying, "Hey, this is what Booster Club's doing," it might get people interested that may not know about us.
How do they find more out about the booster program at Northport High School?
Best way is probably our Facebook page. It's Athletics Booster Club of NPHS. I don't know if it has a shortened thing. Probably, I don't know. But Athletics Booster Club of NPHS. They can email me, abc of nphs.com. It stands for Athletics Booster Club of NPHS. So abc of nphs at gmail.com. Yeah, that's probably the best way between those two, email or Facebook. And you can also message us through Facebook.
Wow, and we're both sitting here. I'm volunteering to do this show once a week.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting here, you're volunteering to do the boosters program last and final year. But both of our kids are gone. All of our kids are gone.
Long gone.
And
A 22
if
and
you
20,
think about
20-year-old.
that's right. If you think about that for a second, 2/3 of this panel right now, Sean,
Mine doesn't even play sports.
yeah, all right. His don't play sports, but you're still at the high school, right? All right, but think about that. None of our kids play sports, and we're doing all that we can for sports. Where are the parents who should be sitting with this panel right now?
Brady's official.
Nice way to throw that in there, zinger. But here's the thing. If we did anything tonight, one, we want to show the great effort that went in of the booster organization to even have the forethought or attitude to forge ahead and get this done, because you guys should be given keys to the city based on the effort that you put in, because there's only a few of you
Right.
who are organizing this and making it happen for not just the current athletes, but any future athletes. You're setting the groundwork. Other parents have to step up now and keep that going. And sometimes you got to let them fall down to let them get back up again. But I'm hoping that saying that I use with my granddaughter, what happens when you fall down, comes into play today, because we can get back up again You can get on the bandwagon. We just need some leaders to step up and take the reins and say, we're not going to let this thing falter. We're going to do more for the student athletes. And I thank you for your time
Appreciate it.
because I know what it takes. I know what it took back then. And listen, I got the utmost respect for both of you guys and your whole team for what you're doing.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
All right, buddy.
You got me inspired. I'll have to join next year.
So being a key part of athletics at the high school doesn't just start by dropping your kid off and driving away and saying, I'll be back to pick you up unless I can find you a ride. Think about that for a minute. We've got parents who are stepping up and picking up other kids and bringing them in, bringing them out. I know for a fact that I understand working a full-time job. My job back in the day when I was doing all the things that they're doing today was to drive all the way to Orlando, market my way home after a full day, and then go to the high school and hang out for 6 hours. That's not what they're asking you to do. If you could give an hour a week, 2 hours a week, just take a fraction of your time. Do something to help them generate funds so that athletes at Northport High School can leave here in 4 years and say, we just had the 6th annual. We should be building on annuals. That is a fact. We should not be pinning our ears back and saying, well, why don't we have anything? You don't have anything because you're not helping build it. You got to build it. And we've got coaches who have sat here and sacrificed hours and hours of their time for your kids, and we brought them on. We athletes of the week. They don't get generated without great coaches and great situations. Athletes of the week matter, the boosters matter, and your participation matters. Sean,
Hey, John.
I'm on it, baby.
I'm
I'm on it.
I missed you, sir. It's been a while.
No doubt.
All right.
Sometimes you just have to have a reality check.
Yeah, it's something I see come off on the SAC committee here. I've been on the SAC committee. That's once an hour a month.
It
It's
is.
not that big a deal.
Yep.
So we gotta get these parents up. I'm thinking about joining when my daughter gets out of here. Just why not?
No doubt.
As a general member, I don't have to do everything.
And general members, they're needed,
Sure, exactly.
100%.
So guys, we got
No dues on general membership, on any membership. Man, we've cut costs for what you need to do. You just need to help us, help you, and help your kids. That's really what we're saying. Help us, help you, help your kids. That's the buy-in right there, and it costs you no money up front. But it does let me tell you this, if you do it the right way and it costs you no money out front, what are you going to get on the backside if they get your kid a scholarship? If they open doorways that are not open today? What are you going to gain from that if they get their college paid for? They may not have the grades, but they may have the athletic ability. And if we can get them to get both at that high school, which I know we can open avenues for growth within our community and keep our kids at home. Sean?
All right. Well, with that, we got to move on here. We got Tony Miller going to come in for a few minutes here. When John was gone, I mentioned him just now that.
You want to come up?
Oh
Yes.
My goodness, hang on.
Yeah, another one. Hold on.
We got a line change.
Come on
here.
around.
Line change. Come on in. Line up change. Here we go.
Oh, we didn't bounce a
All
check.
right. I was going to say, bounce it back.
Here, I'm going to do this real quick. Check out that check. There it is right there. And you can help make it bigger next year.
All right.
All right, move on in there.
Now, unfortunately, I only know Miss Agnes and Miss Agnes. I don't know her last name. I apologize. I was Powell something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to screw this up. So I'm going to let Miss Agnes introduce herself to us here.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Good evening. My name is Agnes Filipino. I'm an assistant principal at Northport High School, and I oversee athletics as one of my duties.
And so you're involved in the booster program too, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So being involved in the booster program, after what I just said, Give us some magical words on your behalf.
Well, I think as an assistant principal, part of my duties, like I said, is overseeing athletics, but of course I'm looking at it from the academics lens, right?
Love it.
So I believe, and research shows, if you read research on academics and athletics, is that if there is a link between the two, if students are involved in athletics, they are more likely to be successful in academics. And ultimately, that's what we want. We want student athletes. They're students first, they're athletes second. But certainly, athletics helps to promote them. And you're talking a lot about money, and you're talking about, funding and fundraising, et cetera, and spreading the good word of funding for athletics. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it certainly makes your life easier,
Sure
correct?
does.
And so, in order to get that buy-in from students, in order to get the programs where we want them to be, we need money. It's just part of the
Fact.
process. It's just a fact.
Yep.
And so it is important to spread that word. It's important to get people involved because everybody has connections, everybody has friends, everybody has someone that they can share this information with. And sure, it is for athletics, and you guys were talking about being involved despite the fact that maybe you don't have a child who's an athlete or you no longer have a child. But our responsibility as adults is to promote a populace that's educated. And athletics is just one of those avenues.
The what you said, there's value in that, and I will tell you that if it wasn't for athletics, when I was in junior high and high school, I would not have kept my grades up, and I might have faltered worse. My coaches inspired me to do more. I watch our coaches at our high school. I've been watching our coaches since we opened the doors. There isn't any coach that looks at an athlete and says, "Don't worry about your grades."
No,
Not one.
no. And those students who are kind of on the fringes sometimes academically will do well when they are part of a sport. And even discipline wise, students who are part of a sport, if we call a coach in as assistant principals for
You don't want that.
I can give lunch detentions all day long and it's irrelevant.
But
If I call Coach Tillman or if I call Coach Miller and I say, hey, your student is acting a certain way.
Yep.
If that coach steps in, and they always do because we have excellent coaches on our campus, it's the worst for that student. That's the worst punishment that they can get, is disappointing their coach.
it is, and what I love about you sitting here, I think you're our first administrator to sit in the chair and take part in the show, which is a great thing. I love the fact that we're connecting the academic side and the athlete. And we talk about athlete of the week. We talk about all these things and we promote that out to our community. What does it mean to you as an administrator to be part of the boosters, to sit here tonight and be able to say the things you need parents to hear? What does it mean to you as an administrator?
We are here for kids. Ultimately, we're here for kids. What it means to me is that this is just one more way through which I can reach students and I can ensure that they are successful, that they graduate high school, that they are part of our school, that they feel part of our school, that they feel like they're a Bobcat. I'm a parent myself. I have a son who plays soccer. It is something that he enjoys doing. It is something that kind of keeps him in line. And I know that about many young boys.
Sure.
I'm a parent of a young
Or
man.
girls even.
Young girls too, but
Yep.
I have a son, so
Yep.
I will speak from that angle. So certainly that's our responsibility, is to educate our students. That is our first and foremost responsibility. And
Sure.
as a high school educator, we send these kids out into the real world. And athletics doesn't teach them just to play basketball or to be a cheerleader or to play football. It teaches them how to be a leader in their community, how to take on responsibilities, how to take chances, how to be humbled by something, and how to strive to be better. So I think that that's what it means to me, is that ultimately I am trying to make our students be successful and graduate and enter into the real world, as they say.
Yep.
And this is another way that I'm doing that. And I think I believe. It is a really big way of doing it. It's just an important and really significant way of doing it.
This may sound like a trick question because I know the answer is none. How many coaches don't care about kid athletes and their grades? How many?
Zero.
Zero. So you have zero money spent getting into the booster organization. You have zero coaches that don't care about your kids' grades. And there is a direct connection with that check that was presented tonight and promoting both the student athlete and the scholar that they should be so that they can take that check, apply it, and really kind of advance themselves for a good future in college, right?
Exactly. It's not about soccer. It's not about basketball. It's not just about soccer and just about basketball and whatever other sport you can name, of course. It's about being an adult. It's about being a student. It's about being successful.
If you had to say something to new parents coming in, the brand new parents that are going to come across the street, those are the ones that we need to wake up first because you're going to be here for 4 years. If you want it to be bigger and better than ever before, you are the target. You are the source to make this thing rock and roll. Okay, and you've got great people right now in place that will help you by training you one on one so that you don't get lost in the muck, just like students don't get lost in the muck. If you had this moment, and trust me, she did not prepare. She didn't even think she was coming on the show tonight. But if you had one thing to tell new parents that were coming in about our student and our student athlete, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that we have an excellent culture at Northville High School. We have a lot of amazing things happening at Northville High School. We have excellent coaches. Most of our coaches, in whatever capacity, and it's in various capacities, they are on our campus. Most of them, not all of them. And they are very involved in our students' lives. They are in tune with what's going on with them, what's going on with them academically, behaviorally, and of course, on the playing field, whatever playing field that might be. And we need parental support, parental buy-in. We have a lot of schools, neighboring schools, who kind of rival with us and they outshine us, but they really shouldn't because we have something amazing going on. We have a lot of people who believe in our students and who really want to propel them to the next step, whatever step that might be, whether it's armed forces, the job market, or into post-secondary education. And we have amazing people. We're building an amazing culture, and we have great leadership doing just that.
And the culture is important too, right? Uh, Culture is important for any team on the sideline. Culture is important for a booster program to promote and have and build upon. Uh, it's also very important within the structure of the teachers, right? Believing in what they can believe in. Just like Tony Miller has stepped up and changed the atmosphere and the culture of the athletic department itself. The coaches have bought into that.
Well, it's a very strategic thing to do, and it's intentional. It doesn't happen by accident, but also you can't turn a cruise ship on a dime, so it takes time. And culture is not easy to fix, or it's not easy to change if it needs fixing, but it's not easy to change. It's not easy to shift hearts and minds, but it's certainly something that we're working on shifting in a positive direction.
So I'm going to add one thing that I've seen out of a lot of our athletes of the week, and that quality is we're actually building leaders.
Correct, exactly.
And has that something that we've adopted into our culture at not just at
Well, we
the
have that CATS culture.
there you
that we're
go.
working
Go
on.
ahead.
It's the
Talk
CATS
about that.
culture that we just started building. It's something that, for every letter of the word CATS, it's an acronym for words. And it's students who embody that particular quality that we nominate them for. And there are obviously positive characteristics that we nominate them for. And it's never dribbling. That's not one of it, or catching a ball or hitting a ball or anything like that. It's about embodying characteristics that are positive, that can be applied to any setting, in any situation.
Right. And that carries on
And that carries
after high
Yes.
school.
Well, that's exactly what we're building, is people who can remember that, who can internalize that, and then later apply it.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
that's it.
Well, Sean, do you have anything to ask
Well, I
her?
did want to tell the audience that's listening, a lot of people don't know this, but when I do all the announcing, they don't see that these administrators are also on duty for these games. So it's not just the 7:30 to 2:30 time when you're doing on campus. You guys are taking turns. You have to do every home game. I believe you have to do an administrator on every away game. There's a lot they're putting into it that you guys as parents and fans don't know that they're doing to help out the whole program. So I just want to thank you. I've seen several of our events, and I'm like, gosh, she's not getting home till midnight in some of these football games. I know you're not away, but this is a very large school for you to have to manage. Did you have another assignment before this? Like, is it like a smaller school, or is it like the biggest assignment you've had in terms of
Oh, as
athletics?
far as,
Like,
as far as administration?
yeah,
Yes.
for athletics, this is a very large.
Yes.
Are you?
Not wearing you out yet, is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you delegate, relegate, and all that kind of stuff?
I work very closely with Tony Miller. He's
Yeah.
amazing, he's
I
awesome.
mean, 600 athletes. That's like a fourth of the school. Is that what I'm hearing?
But usually they're the kids who cause the least problems.
Okay,
We don't have
good.
a lot of issues with them. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of, organizing.
Well, I just want the fans to know that I appreciate all the administrators. I know they're out there long, hard hours. Having
Sure.
You can't go home and come back. You have to stay the whole night and deal with all that. So I appreciate that. And she's also on the SOC committee, so that's another one she's doing.
So
Supervisory committee.
and contrary to everyone's belief, the stipend that coaches get isn't where they make their millions, right? No, I didn't think so. That was a really quick head shake, which I totally expected because I have known a lot of these coaches. I know their character. I know what they're about. I know exactly what their drive is. And it's just not victories. It's victories on and off the court. And on and off the court means classroom. It means life. It means helping kids out when you have an opportunity to help them out so that they don't land in the bad places that any kid can land in. The easiest path sometimes is the path of least resistance. And if we can keep these student athletes into sports and we can get parents involved on the booster side of things and join you at the table because you're part of that.
Right.
It's vital. If you want to learn about your administration, come to a meeting, be part of the boosters, and learn about this administrator who sits at the booster meetings and is part of it. Tony Miller also sits in there. So you're learning about two administrators before your athlete even walks in to the school. You're learning about the structure that's set forth to make your athlete successful. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Not a
Thank
problem.
Thank you. I'll see you next Monday at the SAC meeting. All right. Fans, we here at the Blitz want to recognize, speaking of our cats, recognize last week's Northport High School Athletes of the Week brought to you by Jersey Mike's in Northport. These student athletes demonstrate the Bobcat way.
Come
For
on,
the
coach.
girls, we have Savannah Morgan with girls golf. Savannah is a senior golfer who led the Lady Bobcats with a match low score district while helping her team qualify for the regional tournament. Savannah demonstrates the Bobcat way by being competitive, appreciative, truthful, and stamina. For the boys, we have Jack Stevens with boys swimming. Jack swimming his personal best in both the 50-yard freestyle and 100-yard freestyle districts while dropping 5 seconds in the 100 free. He also helped his 200-yard freestyle relay team advance to the regional championships. Jack demonstrates the Bobcat way by being competitive, ambitious, tough, and through self-discipline. Congratulations, Savannah and Jack, for being last week's Northport Jersey Mike Athlete of the Week. Coaches, please don't forget to send your nominations and each to Tony Miller. We do appreciate if you could attach their grade level as well. I do want to talk a teeny bit about Savannah and Jack real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
So Savannah's team was our first ever girls regional team. That's pretty cool. Last episode, we met one of the lady Bobcat mentor program over here in Creek Country Club. Randomly showed up. I don't know how I got talking to her. She knew who the student was. She was so proud of them for going on the regionals. Jack Stevens' story is really neat. Our first episode ever, we had the swim coach on. Chris Knightley came. And this was the parent who wrote in asking, is it too late to be on the swim team? And here we are, 9 episodes later, he's getting student athlete every week. And I tell a lot of my patients out there, I see them everywhere, there are so many good programs at local high school. We just assume football and basketball, that's all there is. And we've got districts, we've got regionals, we got states coming up on some of our teams, the state champions.
Yep.
There's a lot of action going on that's not just a mediocre football season. There's a lot going on. So with that backdrop, I want to introduce, we've had Coach Brantley on before. I'm guessing we've had some district regional level teams coming out of which he's going to talk about here.
In the past,
In the past.
yes.
So Coach Brantley, we had her earlier this season for cheerleading on the sideline. Why are you here tonight, Coach?
We have transitioned into competition season, and we are getting ready to start with our own competition this coming Saturday. It will be at the high school, and then we start pretty much every weekend after that through the month of January into the beginning of February, competing all over the state of Florida, and then regionals and nationals.
So if I remember correctly, this is the only Norfolk High School meet you'll have will be this Saturday coming
That
up.
is correct.
So guys, if you want to see them, and what time are they starting for that?
It is starting at 11 o'clock. It'll be from 11 to 1.
11.
Yeah, it changed a little bit because
Oh,
of
I
some
can't go
questions.
then.
I know.
Oh, well, if you get us footage, I'll put it on the website. I was gonna go try to film a few of their maneuvers and all that, but I won't be able to do that.
Well, we'll try and get a video of at least our
Of
performance
course,
and we'll.
yeah. How long a meet would you expect to go as a fan? What would you
This is
see?
supposed to be about 2 hours. It's from 11 to 1. We're competing one of our routines at the very end. Our JV team is also competing,
Oh, good.
and also the Little Cats.
Oh, that's
So
great.
at one of the football games, they're going to be doing a demonstration. They won't be getting scored on score sheets, but they're going to demonstrate a routine at the very beginning to start the day.
And I'm assuming there's other schools there?
Yes, there are other schools coming from the Fort Myers area and like Polk County, things like that.
Oh, roughly how many are we talking about?
It's about 8 or 10 teams.
Okay, all right. And tickets, you have to pay, is it?
Tickets are $5 a piece
Okay.
at the door, and they're,
So quick question about the $5, because people need to hear this too. So $5 to get into the event, that just goes to nothing, right?
no, it does not. It goes to help us pay for the competition fees that we have to pay for the other competitions that we go to,
Right.
as well as when we go to regionals and state. When we go to state, we do have an overnight trip, and then we do go to a nationals competition, and that is a little pricey.
And here's the thing. I think people need to hear this out loud because I don't think any coach would disagree with me. If we learn how to participate at these meets, at events that they put on at the high school, it certainly would cut down if you had a full gym.
Oh, absolutely.
It would cut down
Absolutely.
on fundraisers that you might have to do to make up for the things that parents are not participating in.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's always like people don't understand that cheerleading is a little bit more expensive of a sport than most. Most of the time, you have your referee fees and, minimal equipment. Well, our competition fees, we have an entry fee for every single meet or competition that we go to. So our fees are higher than if we go to our nationals competition, that adds even more. And so we try to do as many fundraisers as possible so that parents aren't having to pay everything out of pocket. It gets pretty pricey and some kids have a hard time. So the more that we can get in through fundraisers, the easier it is on the parents and the families and less stress it is on
And let me tell you
everyone.
something, I think it would be cheaper, and there's probably math that you could do on this, but it would be cheaper for you to show up and watch an event for a couple hours, show your support for local athletes, pay $5 versus spending $20 on cookie dough. That truthfully, they don't make $5
Coach is gonna
from.
get you, John. They're gonna-
No.
No, I'm speaking the truth.
100%. I would much rather have an event where people can come and see something or do something or get something out of it
Absolutely.
than to try and sell popcorn or cookie dough that nobody wants, but they feel obligated to buy to help out. So we try to do as many fundraisers as possible that are more event driven, where people can come and get together and just have a good time.
I just thought of this. I used the word thud. This is a thud show today because truthfully, we're promoting high school athletics. but we're doing it with the idea of involvement from our community, from involvement from the parents who have athletes who are participating. For those of you who have middle school or elementary kids who have the well, idea of becoming an athlete, you should bring them. Let them check it out on Saturday. What you talked about the little cats, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about the little cats.
Oh, they're such a cute little group of kids. They're in the cafeteria practicing on Mondays when we're in there, and they're just absolutely adorable. But they range in age from like kindergarten up to like fifth or sixth grade, and they're just coming in and they're learning cheers and learning how to do all the different things. So it's helping to prepare them at a young age to do what we do at the high school level. But they're just absolutely adorable. It would be something you wouldn't want to miss because they're just absolutely cute.
And it's important to have these feeder programs too, right?
Absolutely.
You know, we often we talk about cheer, and I love it. I put them in the bundle of athletics, and sometimes we have people out there who kind of shuck that off. As a coach, who is, guys, you've been there how many years now?
This is year 8.
Year 8. So year 8 of putting your time into coaching, gotcha, coaching girls cheerleading. There's no effort into cheerleading, right? There's nothing to do. There's no athletics involved at all, correct?
We train just like any other sport. We have to work out. We have to condition. We have things we have to do. And, when we're stunting, we are essentially lifting people in the air, and we can't afford to let someone fall and get hurt. So we have to train just like anyone else does. It's just a different type of a sport, similar to gymnastics or figure skating,
Sure.
where it doesn't, seem as athletic as some things like basketball or football, but we do train just like anyone else.
You can break a sweat in what you guys do, correct?
Absolutely. We get 2.5 minutes to do everything that we do, whereas some sports get, a full game.
An hour.
There's no putting someone in or taking someone out if they're not doing a good job. It's, you better do your job, and, you get 2.5 minutes and that's it.
So zero pressure.
Exactly.
We're using this word zero a lot today. So, the funny thing is that we're talking about $5 entry. We've done this before. How many $5 entries have we had? What is your largest crowd, do you think?
I don't know. I would have to talk to my assistant coach, Jenny, about that because she takes care of all the books.
Do you think we've had more than 50 people?
I think last year we did.
Okay.
The first year that we did it, a couple years ago, it wasn't as well visited, but I think that maybe last year we may have had about that.
Okay.
But it would be really nice to
Awesome.
top it.
So if you want to be able to give to the community of sports and cheerleading and show your love and support for what they're doing, $5 from what time to what time?
11 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
11 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Yeah, you'll get home in time for
2
college-
hours. You
for
got
college
college
football.
sports right out there. Oh my
Unless you
gosh.
have a noon game. then
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not.
That's good.
So we are Buckeyes, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, wait.
So I owe. So we had to throw that in because, we've been part of something, the Northport Buckeyes, for many, many years. And I talked about how much time and energy it takes to be a booster. We do things that we want to do because we want to do them. I do the Buckeye organization because I want to do them. You lead a cheerleading squad because you want to do them. What would it be like to have 10 parents stepping forward in your organization right now, unless you already have 10? Do you have 10 parents who step forward and help you out?
I would say yes, because I just put out a poll today in the parents' message board for volunteers to help with on Saturday, and within an hour, I had at least 7 people already signed up.
Yeah, I feel like
So-
cheerleading's gonna have a lot of good parent involvement.
So-
I feels like of all the sports we have on
There's
campus,
so much love.
I think there is. You're all so happy. Coach,
Some years are better than others, but this year I feel like I have a really good group of
Coach, I got a
parents.
question for you. Your sideline cheer team, how many of those members go to the competitive side? Is it the same team or half? Or
It's not
is it more
fully the
selective?
same. There's probably, it was a total of 26 that were on the sideline team, and I think I have 20 or 21 that are continuing on for competition.
So they've been practicing pretty much the Sunday routine
Mhm.
Friday nights. Oh, that's great. That's good. All right. Well, I wish I could come out there.
Well, there's a lot of carryover too, right?
Right.
Yes.
So you've got the carryover, but how long have we been doing the Little Cats?
The Little Cats, this is just year 2.
Year 2. So did we do anything at the junior high level?
No, we do not. The only thing that we have at the junior high level would be the junior Bobcats, which they're a good feeder program for us as well. But they do have teams in the junior high age group.
But I love the fact that you're willing to say there is one, and they're a good feeder program.
We
What
just don't
is-
have anything at either of the middle schools.
That's okay, but talk about the fact that these cheerleaders are coming from other areas. If they have experience, where does that weigh in on what you can do with them even the first or second year?
Oh, wow. Coming in with some experience and knowing what they're doing as far as like understanding that competition and the pressure that's there and having the skill level of stunting and like the basic cheer knowledge, it helps tremendously. They're able to advance from JV to varsity a lot faster, and some of them just straight into varsity if their skill level is advanced enough.
So have we sent any kids on to college, and are they cheering at the college level?
Absolutely. There's been quite a few. One of them graduated the year that I took over was Kayla Marfiso. She
I know her.
cheered at USF.
Yep.
She also was.
I'm gonna have to call her now and tell her, hey, you got mentioned.
She also was she worked for UCA, which is a camp and competition organization. She worked for them for quite a few years, and she is one of the assistant coaches in Bartow. So she's been very successful. We've had several others, and right now we have Emily West, who is a current cheerleader at USF.
Awesome. And so there's some value here in being able to promote these kids out. You've really had an impact. You have somebody else who helps you, right?
I have a few.
A few.
A few.
You want to name them?
My husband, Chuck, is one of my assistant coaches.
I don't know him at all.
No, not at all. As well as my daughter, Maddie. She graduated a few years ago from
Yep.
Northport.
No, I do.
So she's an alum, a cheerleading alum, and she is absolutely amazing. I would say she's probably better than I am, if I were going to be truthful. Then I also have Jenny and JD Ewan. Jenny's been helping me since year 2.
Yep.
And has been a great help keeping things organized, keeping me organized while I take care of a lot of other things. And then new this year is Haley Lori. She was a 2015, I believe, graduate of Northport, and she's also a cheer alum as well.
Fantastic. So we've got alum coming back for cheerleading,
Absolutely.
helping and supporting, and really taking the program with you to another level.
Absolutely. I
Fantastic.
couldn't do it without their help.
Fantastic. Sean, you got anything else, buddy?
I'm good.
All right.
Hey, Mom, let us know.
Well, thank you so much for being part of the show. Thanks so much, and good luck this week.
Send some videos there. All right.
Come
All
on
right,
up,
guys.
Coach.
So I told John earlier, we started a couple weeks ago. We're doing preview seasons of everybody. We had started off with boys soccer, then girls soccer last week. We got competitive cheer right now, and our next coach is up to introduce us to our girls basketball series. Here, nice little preview here of that. While we're waiting for the setup here, guys, if you go to Bobcat Blitz, you're gonna see a couple things. I put a post out there not too long after the home game we had. A whole bunch of thank yous for the home season. And if you get a chance, there's about 12 to 15 people I want to thank. I know I forgot some of you guys. I do apologize, but people just don't know how hard it is to put on a home football game and how many people have to do their job right. So take a look at that as well. And guys, don't forget, we're coming to you live from the Northport Depot Braves. This Saturday night, they are the exclusive home for the Open Fighting Championship here in this area. Tickets are $10 pre-sale. If you come here that night, up until 9 o'clock, you're fine. After that, they'll charge you $15 to stay for your match there. They also have a new side room. It's really nice. They got no bathrooms back there. It's a really neat little situation going on. So come on, it's going to be this Saturday at 9 p.m. And of course, if you haven't heard by now, we are going to be going to LaBelle Saturday at noontime. I will be doing the broadcast. We don't anticipate having it here on a large screen just because it's such a funky time for us. But enough of me. All right, guys, I have a great treat and honor here for me tonight. I've got two coaches, not just one. We get two tonight. Head Coach Tillman, Assistant Coach Denard. I want to thank y'all for coming out tonight. If you do me a favor, guys, give a little introduction, basketball, history, community, whatever you want to let our viewers know about you guys. We'll go with Coach Tillman first here.
How you doing, Coach Tillman? Coach Curtis Tillman. How's that? That good?
There we go.
There we go. All right. I've been part of the basketball community for, I would say, the past 17 years, starting out with MPYB. We took a travel team there called the Northport Bobcats with alum like Malik Barber, Teddy Dees. And then probably around 2016, I ended up becoming a assistant varsity coach over here in Northport for the girls. And
Is that with Coach Hoffman's team?
it started off with Coach Tenner.
Okay.
And then the very next year, I became Coach Huffman's assistant. And then 2020, I became head coach when Coach Huffman stepped down.
All right. And you're now with the high school, the daytime, correct?
Yes, I'm also security guard at the high school.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Your assistant coach. What do you got here today?
Coach here, Denard. I've been coaching for about 15 years. This gentleman to my left brought me on at Northport as obviously head coach of the JV. So I think it was the year after you got posted, or 2 years?
Year after.
Year after. I can remember the date. It's kind of blurry. But I've been coaching with this gentleman, so I left Coach Tony. We started AAU. We brought me in over at Northport, and we've been just coaching together ever since.
Do you guys still do AAU on the side when the season's over? Or?
Yeah, so the past couple of years, we were with FGC Miracle. It was a team based out of Port Charlotte, and we took a few local schools, DeSoto, Venice, Booker, Port Charlotte, Northport, and we competed on the national level. We competed in tournaments in Kentucky, competed in tournaments in Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, all live period tournaments where scouts are present to see our girls play.
And I mentioned this during our soccer preview. A lot of parents don't realize that these sports are now pretty much all year long.
Absolutely.
Very little break in the physical part of it, the financial, the emotional, the family part of it. You are hooked for life when you become a coach.
Yeah, so I tell every young lady who comes into the program, especially the freshmen, once you become a Bobcat, you don't stop playing until you graduate. We go in,
And that's important that parents know this. They think
yes,
it's just a season, you're done, we'll see you in 9 months.
Well, so I want to say it's not mandatory because you also know who actually are ballers, the term that's being used, and who actually wants to come out and play, and then who is just girls who just play basketball, which will show up when basketball season comes around in September, October.
I feel though, as an announcer, I'm watching the high school game is evolving just as quickly as the college game now. And I feel like if they don't play all year long, it's gotten so technically advanced.
Yes.
And the skill sets have gotten technically advanced. The kids have their own trainers and they have their own clinics. It really seems to be you're playing all year, or you're going to be showing up to the first day of practice. Way behind the curve there.
Well, with the talent in the area,
right.
And especially in the state, you have to, in order to compete, you have to play year round, right? So if you just go from our season, which starts in October and ends in February, and you don't touch a ball again until the following October, your game is not going to improve. The program is not going to improve. So in order to improve, we have to keep going year round.
Yeah. So your prospective parents need to understand 4 years is 4 years, not 4 seasons. It's
correct.
All around years. Which that's pretty impressive there. It really is. By the time you're out your senior year, you have a senior night, and that's it. You really have committed quite a bit to yourself, the team, the school, your teachers.
Yeah.
And when senior night comes along, I tell those kids, it's not about you tonight. It's about everybody
Yes.
who financially, socially, emotionally got you to that night.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's a really amazing thing to watch the parents come out and realize, wow, we just spent, and not just 4 years, they also
Right.
did middle school.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
elementary school. So it's
Yeah.
quite an accomplishment. Let's talk about your team this year. You
Okay.
got your team all set? Have you gone through tryouts? Or you haven't
Yeah.
happened
So we're just finishing up our second week of practice.
yet? Oh, so you already have your team set? Then?
Yes, we have teams set up. We have a JV, we have a varsity team. We're going to be very young this year. We don't have any seniors.
Wow, no team.
Yeah.
That's right. Last year you had like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
6 seniors. We graduated 6 seniors last year. Each and every one of them went off to college.
Wow, 100% college. Pretty much, yeah.
College, yeah.
Very-
Actually,
congratulations,
thank you.
I know John had mentioned earlier about the academics.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how much that's important to our town. It's not
Very
just
big, very
who can
big.
dribble the ball fastest. Can they continue to succeed out of this Northport area? So
Right.
good. All right.
And out of the 6, 5 of them received basketball scholarships also to play at the next level.
Really?
Yes.
That has to be one of the records we've had. I don't recall that many. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it would have been 6, but number 6, she just decided she wanted to go to school.
Yeah, and then something wrong with that. We had the soccer kids on earlier. I said, you know, one of the great things about college, if you go to college, you don't have to play your sport, but they have intramurals.
Right,
And
correct.
and that's a really cool thing. You can do your academics, you can be a pre-med major, a law major, and go play basketball twice a week.
Yeah.
And still keep up the level of the sport. And you can keep going into your city leagues and you get older, and then you get to your old man leagues and all that kind of stuff. That's what's so great about our winter sports, both soccer and basketball. You can keep playing
Yeah,
many
absolutely.
years into your older years, not like football where it's
absolutely.
over and the knees are gone, the hips are gone.
Absolutely.
So your team got a lot of juniors and sophomores on the same
So the way it's constructed right now, the varsity team has 3 juniors, 5 sophomore, and 3 freshmen.
Wow, they're all ready to go.
Yeah, they're raring and ready to go.
And you've seen them about the last couple of years through these youth leagues and the travel teams.
Yeah. You know, our freshmen. So we keep tabs on the middle schools also. Beginning of their season, we go out to their practices. We introduce ourselves as coaches,
Right.
and we try to make as many games as we can. Unfortunately, the middle school games are the same time as ours, the seasons.
Yeah.
So if we're lucky enough to have a night off and they're playing locally, then we'll go out and support the middle school players also.
Years ago, and I keep throwing this out there, and I keep getting turned away on it. We used to have the Crosstown
Oh
Showdown.
man, that was great.
And I have been bugging anybody who wants to listen to me because I will do it on my own time and time. So you know what that is? The middle schools, the Heron Creek and Woodland would have not maybe their final game, but one of their games
Yes.
here at the cage.
Yes.
And we would announce it. And they got to go see the locker rooms and talk with RC players. So parents, if you're listening, please, if you know anybody at those schools,
Yes,
use your
please.
powers of persuasion.
Because it's good for the community, it's good for the kids, you know.
It's
Just
excellent for the
Yeah,
community.
absolutely. Just for them to be able to touch the high school court and actually play on that, like that does a lot for the young
Oh, and
kids.
they get the music, they get me going their name, they get the whole thing.
Right,
and
right.
It's really cool for the parents.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're trying to do the boys also. I just can't get enough
yeah,
push on the parent side. So if you know anybody, pull some strings.
yeah,
We need to bring it back. It's time to come back. It's been almost 10 years, I feel like.
yeah. It's been a
while.
long time. Yeah, absolutely.
Your students. So you got a lot of college kids last year. I'm assuming the grades are pretty
Yeah.
good on your team.
Oh,
You got it easy.
Yeah, we
Or easier.
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah, we usually as a team maintain around a 3.5 GPA as a team collectively, 3.0, 3.5, and you know, every time we have a late practice, we alternate with the boys. So you know, one week we're early, then another week we're late, and during that time, the girls actually sit down in the classroom and get on the computer and get homework done. If we're away at a game that's down in Naples somewhere and JV team is watching, playing and the varsity team is watching, some of the girls have their computers out and have their books out and do their homework also while they're waiting to play.
Yeah, let's talk about the Naples. So you got Bishop Verot, I believe, is your first official real season, like a non-real
Yes.
season.
Yes.
Yeah, so that
Yep.
Bishop Verot, you know, that's down Fort Myers.
Yep.
You, I don't know if you're going out to Naples or not, but
Actually, we are going down to Naples for a Thanksgiving tournament.
okay.
So the Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
And of course, the farthest game you're gonna have this year. Tell her all that. We're talking about soccer. I really want to go for this. It's driving me crazy. I can't go. Tell her about Key West.
Oh man, Key West. So I thought I came with the idea, just to do something different with the girls, right? And I said, you know what? Why don't we try Key West? And I did it jokingly to Tony Miller. I said, he usually doesn't tell me no, right? So
he probably said, "What?"
yeah, right. So I came to him jokingly. I said, Tony, how about a game in Key West? Can I go to Key West? And he says, I don't care as long as you pay for it. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
There's the booster part.
There's the booster part,
There
right?
we go.
So as we're building culture here at Northport, I got with Coach Babbitt and Coach Wallace. I said, why don't we do it as a boys and girls varsity thing? And they were on board. And then I got with Coach Albino, and he said, you know what? Why don't we come down with soccer and do boys and girls soccer? So we all put our heads together, and we got with Coach Miller and Dr. Pelopita, and we was like, it'll be a good culture thing. We take 4 teams down to Key West and support each other and get 4 games out of it.
So real quick, guys, if you're not familiar with Key West, they have a hard time scheduling teams for obvious geographical reasons. So we had a Key West baseball game years ago. So they're always asking nicely for away teams to make that multi-hour commitment, and they're gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, you're gonna have one game after the other, so that each team can come out
and support the other.
I think that's an amazing domino.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna start with soccer, girls.
Yes, soccer. So we're gonna start with girls soccer, and then we're gonna follow behind boys soccer, and then we're gonna follow behind girls basketball, and then top the night off with boys basketball.
4 varsity back to back.
Yes.
Wow.
And we look at it as a culture builder. We're all staying in the same hotel. Dr. Pelopita will be down, making sure nobody gets rowdy or nothing like that. And just the fact that we get to support each other, because basketball and soccer runs at the same time, so it's hard to actually get out to support one another.
Right.
So in this capacity here, we actually get to support soccer and vice versa. Soccer gets to support basketball.
And they start about 2 weeks before you guys.
Yes.
So the teeny bit of overlap on the playoffs.
Correct.
That you would miss them, but they could come catch you.
Correct.
On the end of their season.
Correct.
We used to have a really nice student athlete cheer sections coming out. I'd like to see that.
Oh yeah.
I know Ms. Kinker is working on that with SGA.
Yes, absolutely.
We gotta bring that back. That was always a nice thing to see students supporting each other.
Right.
Because these games aren't that late. I'm sitting here 7:30, 7 o'clock.
So part of the change of culture that's going on in Northport also is that Coach Miller and Dr. Pelopita came up with the idea of having all athletes get in each sport, have to give them all the season pass. So no athletes have to pay to get in now. So all athletes have a season pass. So each sport can have a nice crowd and a nice little cheering section, student section, and also each sport is required to go support another sport. Two sports. Just like Dr. Pelopita was saying earlier, we're just looking at changing the culture here in Northport.
I'm making a suggestion here, and I don't know if coaches have the power to do it, but you guys should get like 5 to 10 free passes and give them out to either students in the crowd, like the loudest, craziest kid gets a free, something cool like that. Maybe at school you can give them away. Best kid of the week gets a free pass.
That's not a bad idea. Like I said, Tony Miller doesn't very rarely tell me no, so I can throw that out. He might, but he may say yeah.
How was your parents this year? We were talking a lot about the boosters earlier, the parent involvement.
Well, I mean,
big theme tonight.
You want to take this one? I've been doing all the talking.
Well, we have a parents meeting tomorrow,
Oh,
so
there you
it's a
go.
little early to kind of figure out how our parents are going to be. But we plan on just getting them to support. Each year we kind of figure out a little bit more. We get different ideas. We got obviously we got the great Monty Jefferson playing D1 basketball. And, we get a chance to talk to those coaches, and we get a chance to ask, what do they do?
Oh,
Relationship wise. And a lot of it is, making sure they have a good relationship with the parents. And so that's kind of my job this year, is to make sure I kind of build that, because colleges, that's what they're actually really doing. If a kid gets in trouble, it's no more of, hey, I'm gonna go and talk to the dean or, your administrator. They're calling your parents. And so these coaches are old school.
At the college level, they'll call parents.
They'll call the
I have been threatening my daughter that I can't help you in college, that you're gonna be immune to me helping you. Are you telling me it's not true? They will actually call parents.
They'll call the parents.
It's always the hardest thing to get.
Yeah.
The rotation on that's hard to get. So I did want to mention Amani real quick. Are you guys considering a game down there for the team?
Absolutely. So every year, and it's kind of pretty cool now that she's at FGCU, because every year we take a varsity trip down to FGCU to watch games. So this year, it makes it even more special because now she plays at FGCU and she's an alumni. So actually, November 19th, when FGCU plays Kentucky, we are looking to.
It's a Sunday.
Yes, Sunday at 2 o'clock. We are taking.
We need to get a Northport bus down there.
That'd be
So
great,
I have a short story on this. My sister wants to take my niece down to an FCU game to see a girl. She's actually on Dale Huffman's middle school team this year.
Oh, really?
And I told her about Amani Jefferson. Those in the crowd didn't know Amani Jefferson played for us a couple years back. She went on to Memphis, I believe. Yeah, she's back to FGCU. She was the all area, everything. I'm talking freshman years.
Yeah.
All years, fantastic. I get to see her play a D1 game, but I'm about to tag along the 19th to get some footage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so
let me know this.
Yeah, so like I said, we usually do one trip, but maybe this year we'll probably end up doing 2, maybe 3, depending on how the schedule works out. But FGCU is an every year thing with our varsity girls. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna let Mr. Robinson on in here. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
So I'm gonna hammer this home with you real quick. So we have an athlete who advances themselves, and now it's at South Gulf Coast, right?
FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast, yes.
I said it wrong, so thank you for the
No
correction.
problem.
But I was excited about that.
Uh-huh.
Do coaches at the next level find these athletes because they play ball? But they're not hidden. You guys didn't hire her.
No.
You didn't cut her off from getting access.
Right.
She had access because she was playing good, right?
Right.
And she is a superstar with Northport.
Right.
It could be seen.
Right.
They can't.
Excitement there from last year who've gotten scholarships with their game to play at that next level. So for us to put our hands on that player and just help mold that player is very exciting for me.
The funny thing is we keep talking about the participation, and you got to ask the question about the parents, and you were really cool about how you smiled your way through it, because you have your meeting tomorrow night. So I'm going to ask you differently. How many kids are on the team?
JV varsity?
Yes, JV varsity.
So we got 11 on varsity, and I believe we have 10 on JV.
So 21 parents need to step up.
Absolutely.
So if you had 21 parents step up and just help you build the momentum for the year, how hard is it going to be to collect 21 parents next year? 9. So you're building that team too.
Right.
So it's funny that we're sitting here talking about building a team each and every year and having to build the parents with them.
Yeah.
So the key to this whole thing, if you want your kid to be successful, stop making the coach build the parent team. Parents should be stepping up. If the coaches are willing to put their time and energy in, you should be too. And just look at the smiles on their faces when they talk about their athletes. That's what we're talking about, student athletes who need parent support.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because in the past we've had players where their parents never came to a game. not one. I mean, we've had a kid last year, well, actually a couple last year, where we've never met their parents until senior night.
That's insane.
How's that possible?
That is insane, right? So,
But here's the thing, and I don't mean to cut you off,
you're fine.
because out of all respect, we needed to say these things
Mhm.
more than this year.
Correct.
This has been a trend, and I don't care what school you go to, it's a trend.
Absolutely.
And parents, if you're not listening, grandparents, if you have that willpower to correct your kid who's the parent at this point, I know that this trend wasn't like this when I was a kid.
Mhm.
This is a new trend.
Yeah.
This is drop and go.
Right. Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I bet you're great dads. Okay, seriously, because I watch how you're carrying yourself, and I don't know either one of you.
Mhm.
I don't. I would drink a beer with you. Okay, 100% I would drink a beer with you. And I love the fact that you're showing that raw emotion that has to happen. If you're willing to show that raw emotion on this show for you to listen to, and you're willing to put that much time into these kids, seriously, we just need 11 parents to step up and help you guys make a fantastic program for the season.
And being that we're a new team, we're a young team. We have a lot of new faces on the varsity team this year. So who knows? Maybe hopefully this year we have a lot of parent involvement.
I think you're going to, because you're inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
You are,
Appreciate it.
and
Appreciate
you've got a great outlook. If you get in, if the parents would actually step up and get in to know each and every one of the coaches at the high school,
Mm.
they're all inspiring.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you something that I haven't asked anybody else,
Okay.
and it's, I want you to name me one coach that doesn't inspire their kids to play harder and better
Hmm.
at the high school.
I can't think of one.
I want you to name a player who sits on the bench for another school who could start for us.
Don't say that loud.
No, who could start for us.
Don't call them out.
Oh man.
That could make not just a difference, but get noticed because they're playing.
Yeah.
This is a problem, and this is a problem that doesn't start with the kid. It starts with parents.
Yeah.
Okay? And the reality check that parents need is real. It's, I got to get my kid to a better college.
Mm.
Go sit somewhere else for 2 years, graduate, and win some games and tout that you won,
Mm.
but you lost
Right.
because you lost your chance
Correct.
to play ball and really get recognized. If Amani didn't get recognized, this is a completely different conversation.
Correct.
We did that at
Mhm.
Northport. She got recognized, and that was because you did nothing, correct? Or did you do something?
Yeah.
You did something,
We did something. Yeah. Absolutely.
and she did something,
Yeah.
and she performed
Yes, she did.
for a team that, quite frankly, I need to answer. Was she playing with people at her level,
So
or did she bring them up?
I would say was it freshman year or sophomore year? That team, the 2018 team. I believe it was her sophomore year. She played with players on her level. Yes, Frank Abella was on that team. My daughter was on that team. Coach's daughter was on that team. And we were 22-17, averaging 75 points a game and winning by an average of, 15 points a game. I mean, we put up 100 points, 101 points in the game without even trying. So that year, she did have players on her level. Unfortunately, we came across a juggernaut down in Naples that could match our energy, and we couldn't win districts that year. But before she graduated, she ended up bringing home a district championship to Northport. out in, back in, 2020.
And was that team as strong as the one you? just
Absolutely
talked about?
not. Absolutely.
Isn't
not.
that amazing?
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's funny how that
Now, you
works.
talk about personal growth.
Right.
That's personal growth of an athlete.
Yeah.
Because she had to learn how to navigate
Hmm.
from the ease of what they had before
Right.
and the flow of what you get playing on a team that just has it going
Mhm.
and going on
Right.
to a team that she had to lead.
And that's what she did. I mean,
Why is she where she at today? Because she learned it somewhere.
Yeah.
Might have been Northport, right on the court.
mhm.
And the odds are that she did.
Yeah.
Because you just told her story. And I'm gonna ask that team that you had that was scoring 75
Mhm.
and doing their thing and 100 points and
Mhm.
those other girls,
Mhm.
they're not leaders now either.
Oh, absolutely.
They're leaders, aren't
Oh,
they?
absolutely. Yeah. Every
So
last
we're
one.
talking about student athletes, we're talking about participating, we're talking about parents getting involved. And we're talking about two coaches who care about your kids. And if you're not watching your kids, do what they are teaching them on the court. They care more about your kids than you do.
Yeah.
Seems like.
It does, don't it?
Yeah.
So don't make it seem like it. Get involved. That's all we're asking. Get involved.
Yeah.
Because if you had 11 parents step up and help you out tomorrow night,
Oh man, my job would be a whole lot easier.
and things could get done for those kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just as simple as team meals,
100%.
just team meals. We have 21 kids. We have 21 games that we can use a team meal, right? So if each parent donate a team meal, each kid will get
Or
fed.
found an outlet that did.
Right. Each kid will get fed.
You know,
every
there's such a thing called marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing 101.
Right.
If you had a team of parents who said, we're not going to let our kids go hungry. A team of parents who said, we're not going to let our kids go hungry.
Mhm.
When I was the booster president, quick story. I had volunteers that came out and helped me from the school. Not teachers, they helped too. Not coaches, they helped too. Students
Mhm.
who weren't athletes.
Right.
Do you know why they helped us?
Mm.
We fed them before the football game
Okay.
because they couldn't go home. They didn't have a meal. And I got called out. You're giving away free food. No, I'm helping these kids not go hungry. And they're helping me because I go back to 2002, 2007, 2008. I did have a group of good, strong parents helping me with the booster program. But as far as setup and getting what I used to call events, we had games, but they were events. City commissioners were out there. We had all kinds of stuff happening. All kinds of things happening around athletics. And it was called student involvement.
Right.
You got student involvement for basketball.
Yeah.
Do we have a cheer squad that comes in there for basketball and gets the team on a home game? They get them going.
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
It needs improvement.
Yeah,
No. See, we're talking real. We're talking real right now because student involvement
Right.
can make a difference in the game.
Absolutely.
Can make a difference for the team.
That could be a battery pack. Student involvement could be a battery pack.
It's funny. We talk and joke about the NCAA and Saturday football.
Mhm.
Imagine. Oh, we don't have to imagine. Sorry, we had empty stands, and we watched NFL teams play with no stands
Mhm.
filled.
Mhm.
Gee, that was boring.
Yeah.
If it was boring for us as fans, imagine what it was like for the athlete. UFC. I love UFC. They got it here this Saturday. This Saturday they have USC right here, or UFC right here. When they had it with no fans, they lost fans. Lost fans because it wasn't fun to watch anymore. Imagine if we filled the stands for games for the girls.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about what happens with the gate. Gate money matters.
Yeah, it does.
You know, these other programs out here that are bigger and been around years longer than us, they have gate money from football. It's huge. Huge impact. We don't talk about that because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But you know what? Gate money matters. Participating and watching your kids and paying for your ticket in helps your sport.
Mhm.
It does. No matter how you look at it, it's part of your little budget, right?
Right.
So there is a value with self-promotion and student athletes participating and even businesses helping you out by participating. It matters. All those things are factual.
Yeah, we do have businesses, especially for my program. We do have 3 businesces that actually
Awesome.
come in and help. So
You list them? Who are they?
yeah, so we have TNC, which is my wife's Timber Nurse Consulting. We have Freedom Rehab with my other assistant coach, George Van Salisbury. And then we have Elite Hurricane and Shutters with Chris Hagee. Those are our biggest donors for the program. And they help us. And they're consistent donors, and they help us every year with backpacks, uniforms, hoodies, travel suits.
So you've hit your limit. You can't take one more business, right?
Oh,
Just
no.
really, just listen,
No.
businesses out there,
No, we
they
can
don't
definitely-
need any more of your support.
We could
Or
definitely,
do you?
no, we could definitely take more businesses, absolutely, because there's still basketballs that needs to be
We
bought.
can make a joke out of this all night long. Seriously, we're
Yeah,
having fun with you now. But if you want to get involved and you want to make an impact, we're doing this show every Tuesday. They're mentioning you right now. They don't just mention you here. They're going to mention you to their parents. They're going to do all kinds of things to get your name out. There's signage.
mm-hmm.
Where's that sign hang?
And that sign hangs right in the gym,
Right in the gym.
right in the gym.
Do we announce those signs on occasion?
Depends on Tony's rotation.
Rotation. So it's on a rotation, right?
Well, they've been some of them there for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's all
I
right.
gotta update them. But yeah.
Think, all right.
I do.
Listen to that. Did you hear what he just said? Some of them have been up there 10 years. 10 years. 10-year anniversaries. We don't have a 3rd-year anniversary of a fundraiser. We have coaches sitting right here and now who have 3 businesses. We have coaches sitting right here, right now, who need parent involvement. 21 kids, 3 businesses, 2 coaches, and hopeful thoughts of parent support. I hope you have great success tomorrow night. I hope you send this out to your parents because they need to hear this before they hear you. Because this message that you're sending right now, it's as real as it gets.
Yeah.
And I know that just because of how you guys are shaking your head. And I appreciate you being honest, because the parents need to know that not only are you here for the student athlete, not only are you here to do all these things for your paycheck, your large paycheck you get from all of this that you do. And I make jokes of it because the laughter is all that has to be said. Seriously, because they're not getting rich from all that they're putting in, but they are getting rich from all that they do for their community and giving back. And that's why you need kudos given. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So this is John Rawlings with Sean Kirkpatrick saying thank you for listening in. I hope you enjoyed the show, but please share this. It matters that you participate at any level right now. Make a difference in your kids' life and future kids in Northport. Get involved. Thanks and have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.